Good morning, everyone. Welcome to BYJU'S Exam Prep. My name is Alpa Sharma, and in today's session, we shall be revising the important editorial articles from what month? I'll tell you that. Most of you had made a good guess yesterday. So, the agenda of the class is that, but before that, am I clearly audible and visible to everyone? Am I clearly visible and audible? Mahita, Vatanpreet, everyone in the YouTube channel as well? Hi everyone, good morning. Yes, clearly visible and audible. Yes, okay. So, let's understand the agenda of the class. I'll see you every Friday, okay? And every Friday at 10 a.m. we would not take the regular editorial analysis like we used to do all the last year. We will be revising the important editorial articles from the last 6 months. So, I've divided probably 15 days, okay? I'll try to take up more articles next time. Today, February 1 to February. Just a minute, something went wrong. Give me a second. Yeah. Okay. So I'll be taking up Friday, February 1st to February 15th articles. Okay. Now, what I've done is I have bought the important topics on which reading comprehensions can come. I've also bought articles from various sources. So I've bought articles from the Hindu, the Indian Express, the Guardian. Aeon, since we do not have dates of they being posted, I'll take up a separate session on Aeon where I'll handpick articles which you should be reading. That should very likely happen the next Friday. So that's going to be our agenda of the classes, okay? And how much time do you give to newspaper? Half an hour. Okay, if that's what you're asking. How much time should you give? That depends on your capability and your understanding of the newspaper. Also, this is not it. I'll be telling you the important topics on which articles can come, and I'll be sharing the link with you as well. I'll be sharing the articles with you as well. Plus, in the description box, by the end of the class, you will find a link to download this PPT. Okay, this will be converted into a PDF. You can download the PDF so that you can access the articles. They would not have a link, but then you can simply copy and paste the name and you'll find the article on Google. Be it from the Indian Express or the Hindu or the text and context, because initially text and context was a part of only the online e-paper edition, not the print edition. So some articles are important from the text and context as well. And that is not it. I have bought one article today that we are going to be discussing. That is from the New York Times. And 99% of you, I'm sure, haven't read that article. Okay, the PDF is available now, so you can download that. And I'm going to take an article from the New York Times and we are going to be reading that. You will love that article. You will absolutely fall in love with that article. Each one of you, I will assure you that. So, ready everyone? Start करें. Start करने से पहले एक काम आपको करना है. आपको सेशन लाइक करना है, गुरु दक्षिणा पे करनी है. It took me so much effort. मुझे एक दिन का एक न्यूज़पेपर खोल के देखना पड़ा. I had to handpick them. You have to pay me my Guru Dakshina at any cost here. Okay? Yeah. Also, since I have a lot of people online today, I would expect you not to talk amongst yourself. Okay? So that I can look at the important. Shrestha, you have my heart. Yes, that's what I'm going to be talking about. Did you read the article? Did you love it? I'll do it. Sakhi, you must have posted that later on. I'll do it. Okay? Thank you, everyone. Everyone in the app, please do rate me a 5. Thank you, everyone. Shrestha, how did you even guess it? That's very unlikely, actually. Chaliye, start karte. So, let's have a look at the important events of the first 2 weeks of February. So, here are they. The first one Tata taking over Air India. Now, that of course was an eventful matter because Air India बहुत टाइम से लॉसेस में चल रहा था. इसका एक छोटा सा बैकग्राउंड बता देती हूँ आपको जिन लोगों को नहीं पता है. ओके, सो इसका बहुत टाइम से एयर इंडिया had been into a lot of losses and they had been trying to sell it over to a privatized company. And quite a while they had been trying, it had been almost for over a year or a couple of years that they had been trying to sell it off. So finally Tata was able to buy it again. So there were articles on Tata taking over Air India because one, okay, so because one, Tata was the one to launch it. Okay, so that is why it was in news a lot. Two, the condition Air India was taken over was in a pathetic condition and Tata had to deal with it. How would Tata actually bring back Air India to a profit-making mechanism? So there were articles on that. Three, Tata already has two more airlines. One with a combination with the Singapore Airlines and the other is their own brand. So they already had two more airlines in the market. So there were articles on should they keep running Air India as it is or should they merge Air India with either their own airlines or with Singapore Airlines Alliance. So there were articles on all three perspectives. Okay. Yes. Shrestha, you have my heart, certainly. Okay. Now, these are important topics on which reading comprehensions can come. Okay. They are from various newspapers. I'll be sharing articles in the second half of the class. So let's first talk about the important events on which reading comprehensions can come. Okay. The next one was Nadal's victory. This becomes even more important because that's not something unexpected from Nadal. And then he's been one of the best players in the world that we have seen. Why does this become an important event? Why? Who remembers that? Yes, Vistara as well. Correct. Yes, as well. Sakhi, that's an important one because Air India chairman banane ke liye bhi bahut time laga. They had been hunting for people. People had been rejecting the position for quite some time. And finally, they landed up on one person. So, wo bhi important hua. ठीक है? So now tell me, why is Rafael Nadal's victory of 21st men's single Grand Slam is important? Yeah. Why is that important? Anyone? Why is that important? Exactly, Samarth. Yes. And then it was because of his injury and his comeback. Also because it was, there was a rift, there was a conflict with the Australian government. He decided not to be vaccinated. The government said, Australian government said, if you want to come to our matches for Grand Slam, you have to be vaccinated. So there were many reasons why this made a popular news. One, because it was the highest number of victories we've seen. Two, he was injured and it was a comeback that we had seen. We did not expect him to win it. We thought he would lose because he's becoming old and he's injured. Three, because he had a rift with the Australian government where the Australian government demanded him to be vaccinated and he decided not to be vaccinated. So ultimately with a lot of, he was stranded at the airport for many, many hours. There was a lot of drama that followed. Ultimately he played and he won. And that's exactly why an article on his impeccable feat could come up in the examination. Certainly, very likely. Do you remember last year एक player पे article आया था? I don't remember exactly which examination. Was it CLAT or AILET? I'm confused between two. But 2021 had an article on a player, a tennis player deciding not to speak to the media. Can you name the tennis player? Yes, his bouncing back. Can you name the tennis player I'm referring to? She decided not to speak to the media because of her mental health. And then she received a lot of flack because of that. Yes, there were articles on the controversy too. Absolutely correct. Haha. Yes, Kirti. Yes, my mom told me that. Osaka Naomi. Yes, it was Osaka Naomi. Naomi Osaka. Exactly. Correct. That's the name. So she decided not to meet the media, greet the media, speak to the media because of her own mental health. So, because sports has been an important event, this can also come up. Then we have annual budget. Okay, annual budget पे देखो, what I believe, annual budget और एक और topic है, that's the hijab row. मेरे हिसाब से इन दोनों पे एडिटोरियल आर्टिकल्स के थ्रू और रीडिंग कॉम्प्रिहेंशन बनने के चांसेस बहुत हाई नहीं होते हैं, बिकॉज जहां बहुत ज्यादा पॉलिटिकल पॉइंट ऑफ व्यू आ जाता है, यू विल नॉट वेरी लाइकली सी अ रीडिंग कॉम्प्रिहेंशन ऑन अ वेरी पॉलिटिसाइज्ड थिंग. Okay, I know it's very, very important from the perspective of GK. It's very important from the perspective of our nation, but not very important from the perspective of CLAT reading comprehensions. Yet, you need to know exactly what was the budget, what was the gist of it, what changes were sought after, कौन से groups impact होंगे इस annual budget से, and of course the government received some flack for this budget as well. So, एक normal analytical article आ सकता है on the annual budget, not a very strongly opinionated one. Usually reading comprehensions are not very strongly opinionated, usually not on politics and the governments. So you might have one. This is probably not very, very important from the perspective of reading comprehensions. Similarly, if you see about hijab row, you must have seen I've never taken an article on hijab row in my editorial classes in the last 1 year, despite the fact that hijab row has been a very important topic. Every single day for the 2 consecutive months, we had articles on hijab row. Obviously, because it is, yeah, GK questions can stem from this. Of course, they can. Legal reasoning के perspective से ये important है. Okay, but certainly not very important from reading comprehension perspective. Okay, so please understand. ये I'm sure आपको समझने की need नहीं है. I'm sure आपको पता होगा कि ये हिजाब रो क्या हुआ था, where did it start, what shape did it take. I will not talk about that, neither will I give you a brief about that. It's a normal topic. I just hope the article does not come on this topic. Okay, local job laws. What am I referring to here? What am I referring to here? Yes, it's very important, Shreya. I'll discuss about that as well. Kirti, I took articles on budget. अच्छा, एक बात और, before you tell me what are local, yes, broken heart. Of course you can do better this time, Harsh. The Haryana Law, yes, Haryana Act. कि आपको, so basically the act was that if there was an industry or there's a company, there's an organization that's set up in Haryana, it was mandatory for them to hire a specific number of people who are domicile residents of Haryana only. It was a mandate for them. Okay. And then this was not the only state that had tried to pass this law. There were other states as well. The 75% reservation is necessary for the employees of Haryana domicile residents. And it received flack as well as appreciation. It received appreciation because जब बाकी states करे तो Haryana क्यों नहीं करेगा? It also received flack because why will a company hire somebody or reservation deke who the company thinks is not fit enough, and they might find better candidates from outside. But then when you have reservation in government jobs, why not in private jobs? That was the whole idea. So there are counter questions coming and there are questions coming in support of this as well. Please understand the entire, yes, up to a salary. There was a mark, up to a salary of 30,000, आपको hire करना जरूरी है, 75% of your employees from that specific state only. So that's an important one as well. Good morning, Paritosh. आज बहुत सारे नए लोग आए हैं क्लास में. अच्छा, before I proceed, let me tell you something. If you're thinking I'm going to be reading articles to you out, sorry, I'll not do that to you. You'll have to do some hard work. या तो classes में regularly आओ, तो articles मिलेंगे, पढ़ के भी समझाऊंगी. But if you don't come to the classes regularly, I'll merely be sharing the articles with you. I'll give you a brief of the article, but you, my child, have to do some hard work. I can't spoon feed you. So I can skim through the papers. I can identify important articles for you, but you, my child, have to do some hard work. I'll share the PDF with you in the end. You can download it, search for the articles, read them on your own. That's one thing I can do. Okay. So getting back to the previous page. Beijing Winter Olympics received a lot of criticism. Why did it receive a lot of criticism? लोकल जॉब्स का मीन्स लोकल रिजर्वेशन. विकास, इसका मतलब ये हुआ कि हरियाणा में अगर मान लो बायजूस का ऑफिस है, तो बायजूस के ऑफिस में 75% जो स्टाफ होगा अप टू 30,000 सैलरी का, वो 75% स्टाफ हरियाणवी, नॉट हरियाणवी बट हरियाणा डोमिसाइल के लोग ही होंगे. ये लॉ था. बाकी आप 25% बाहर के लोग ले सकते हो 30,000 तक की सैलरी के, बट इस तक की सैलरी के 75% लोग हरियाणा के ही होने चाहिए अगर आपको हरियाणा में फंक्शन करना है तो. और हरियाणा में एक सबसे बड़ा हब है इंडस्ट्रीज का और ऑर्गेनाइजेशंस का, एंड दैट्स गुरुग्राम. सो बहुत बड़ा इंपैक्ट था इस चीज का. ओके, द ह्यूमन राइट्स वायलेशन, यस, exactly. Indian administration, yes, the torchbearer, yes, 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 and the clash that we saw, of course, poor facilities, the Galwan clash, all of that, ये सब की वजह से ये important हो जाता है. Yes, yes, Paritosh, they are. Okay. Okay, somebody is asking me what was the verdict of the hijab row. कोर्ट का क्या वर्डिक्ट था? याद है किसी को? वर्डिक्ट बताएगा कोई मुझे? एंड ऑफिशियल बॉयकॉट भी था. एवरी न्यूज़पेपर, गार्डियन, इंडियन एक्सप्रेस, हिंदू, न्यूयॉर्क टाइम्स, एवरी वन ऑफ दीज, बिकॉज वेस्ट नेशंस तो ऑब्वियसली चाइना को अपोज करेंगे, सो ऑल ऑफ दीज न्यूज़पेपर्स क्रिटिसाइज्ड चाइना फॉर देयर ओलंपिक्स. ओके, यस, एब्सोल्युटली. It was politicized. In a nutshell, it was politicized. Exactly. Yes, it was allowed. Correct. And allowed by Karnataka court. So, multiple areas में multiple डिस्कशन हुआ था. ठीक है, बैक टू इट. सो बीजिंग विंटर ओलंपिक्स में ऑफ कोर्स ऐसे आर्टिकल नहीं आएगा रीडिंग कॉम्प्रिहेंशन में वेयर दी author will ask you or tell you about how China was wrong और क्या पॉलिटिकल था. हाँ, ये हो सकता है कि हम गालवान घाटी से रिलेटेड एक आर्टिकल दे सकते हैं ओलंपिक से लिंक करते हुए, और हमने क्यों बॉयकॉट किया था. दैट कैन कम ऑल्सो. इसमें बाकी नेशंस कैसे देखते हैं विंटर ओलंपिक्स को, दैट कैन ऑल्सो कम. सो प्लीज रीड द डिटेल्स अबाउट विंटर ओलंपिक्स इन अ नटशेल. देन वी हैव मैरिटल रेप. बहुत सारे केसेस आए, बहुत सारे केसेस के वर्डिक्ट्स आए. मैरिटल रेप को एक क्रिमिनल ऑफेंस बनाया गया. इसका ब्रीफ मुझे कौन बताएगा? Yes, it is not an essential practice. That's what it was believed. Okay. So many cases followed after that about marital rape. There was a lot of debate about marital rape, that can it be called a rape? And abhi, when we're talking about marital rape, recently in Jaipur, a person has been convicted for getting his wife pregnant without the wife's consent. So, but then that is not an important event. This certainly is. Yes. So, our law does not criminalize marital rape. That's the whole idea. It is not criminalized. Because of the language that we use in our law, it is not yet criminalized. Correct. So it's still Article 375. Exactly. Let me write this down. So we still are in a dilemma. Yes, Abhinav, correct. It was not compulsory, non-essential. So it is still not criminalized. We are still in the process of having a lot of debate if marital rape can be a criminal offense or not. But we don't know what's going to happen. इस पे बहुत आर्टिकल्स आए थे, बहुत डिबेट हुए थे. लीगल रीजनिंग के पर्सपेक्टिव से भी इंपॉर्टेंट है. रीडिंग कॉम्प्रिहेंशन बिल्कुल आ सकता है. एंड द लास्ट वन दैट आई थिंक इज rather the most important, one of the most important one, is tumbling of the meta platforms share. Some people are asking me कि मैम क्या bitcoins and currencies ये important है? Yes, they are important. They are important specifically जब हमने annual budget में उस पे taxation start कर दिया था. So digital currency के बारे में दो चीजें एनुअल बजट में आई थी, एक कि टैक्सेशन स्टार्ट होगा और दूसरा दैट आवर आरबीआई इज गोइंग टू कम अप विद इट्स ओन डिजिटल करेंसी. डू यू रिमेंबर बोथ द थिंग्स एवरीवन? Yes, 200 billion worth swept out in one single day. There have been a few, bache, but if you look at the law, Purva, and the language of the law, it omits marital rape. Okay? I know there are a lot of articles coming to your mind about Facebook whistleblower and its conversion to Meta, but bache will stick to February 1 to February 15th only. Otherwise, हम बहुत deviate हो जाएंगे. ठीक है? Yes, 30% tax on crypto and RBI launching its own digital currency. Digital money. So ये दोनों important है from the perspective of annual budget and crypto. Although when the government decides to put a tax of 30% on the crypto or digital currency, it's basically difficult to actually track the digital currency and who is buying it, who is selling it. That's why ये जो 30% का जो taxation था, ये भी थोड़ा dilemma में है. Getting back to the tumbling of Meta's platform share, 20 million shares actually, 200 million के shares actually एक day में wipe out हो गए थे and 25% fall in the shares. Yes. हर्ष देखो, होना कुछ और चाहिए, होता कुछ और है, ये सब कुछ लॉ पे डिपेंडेंट होता है. सो वी विल नॉट टॉक अबाउट क्या होना चाहिए, ये हम रेगुलर हिंदू क्लासेस में डिस्कस कर सकते हैं. ओके, सो दिस इज एन इंपॉर्टेंट वन. व्हाई द शेयर्स? अपार्ट फ्रॉम दैट, द कन्वर्जन ऑफ फेसबुक टू मेटा, एन आर्टिकल कैन कम ऑन दैट. फेसबुक विसल ब्लोअर आर्टिकल, जो रेवल्यूशंस हुए थे अबाउट फेसबुक, अबाउट नॉट कंट्रोलिंग सर्टेन पोस्ट्स बिकॉज they might get a lot of likes and views, but they might also induce violence and communal violence and hatred and mental stress in the society, yet they were not controlled and the blame was given to the artificial intelligence. Remember all this? So according to me, for the first 15 days of March, these and these are the important articles, important events rather, that you have to keep in your mind. Now I'm going to move on to स्पाईवेयर की अभी बात नहीं करेंगे. नो 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 नो, वी आर नॉट टॉकिंग अबाउट पेगासस टुडे. वी आर नॉट. ओके, यस पारितोष, वी विल. हाँ, द एल्गोरिथम प्रॉब्लम ऑफ एआई. ओके, जस्ट अ मिनट. Okay, now I'm going to start off with articles that I think are important from various newspapers. Before I show you these articles, give me a second and could you please stop talking amongst yourself, because otherwise I can't see the important comments here. That's a very important article, Shrestha, the meat space. I loved it. So here you go. But before this, we have flat 25% sale going on all our online classroom programs. रश ऑफ, जल्दी से एनरोल कर लो, लेट मत करो. ठीक है, दो चीजें. क्लास के लिए बहुत एफर्ट लगा है, मेरा बहुत एफर्ट लगा है. I've actually ruined my eyes looking into newspapers, not physical ones but online ones. Please like the video if I haven't done that yet. Please share the video. Please subscribe to the channel. Please comment under my video if you think the class was beneficial for you. Here we go. If you're targeting CLAT 2023, a new comprehensive course is launched. जल्दी से enroll कर लो इसके लिए. टाइम बहुत कम है December CLAT के लिए आपके पास. The first article that I think is important. It's from the Hindu Text and Context. How many of you remember doing this article with me? Okay. I have already covered the articles on budget. All of you who ask me, ma'am, articles पढ़ के समझा दो, I will not do that, बच्चे. I do that every day in my regular classes. For that, you have to be regular with my classes. But I can share the gist of the article with you. That's what I'm doing here. याद है ना? So ethnocentrism, idea क्या होता है? That my group, my ethnicity is superior to all of yours. ये बिलीफ रखना that one's own group as ideal and all other groups I will deal with them with dislike, dominance, conflict, instability, prejudice, and even war. So that's ethnocentrism. I am superior to you. My ethnicity is superior to yours. And you know कि मेरा क्या experience raha hai with ethnocentrism. So if you haven't read the article, it has appeared in the text and context of the Hindu. When you type this ethnocentrism, the Hindu on Google, you'll land up on this article. You can read that in detail. That's the first article. Let's have a look at the second article. Ethnocentrism, बाकी लोगों को समझ में आया what that is? Pegasus, is it important? Yes, I think it is important. Sometimes overseas, sometimes articles, Paritosh. Okay? Yes, Ayush, absolutely correct. Sinhalese in Sri Lanka is a very good example. Sinhalese की तुम क्या बात कर रहे हो? Let's talk about French. Let's talk about the Englishmen. We've been a victim to that. Let's not go any further. Let's look at things around us. Okay? A liberal possibly, or a secular. Shafi, that's a better word. Let's have a look at the second article that I think was important in those 15 days. Turbulence ahead. Turbulence about Air India's takeover by Tata. And what could have been a turbulence after Tata took over Air India? The turbulence, it appeared in the Hindu. It also appeared in the Indian Express. But I think the language of the Hindu's article was better. The turbulence could be taking over Air Asia in a bad state. And then since already Tata had 2 more airlines going on, should they be merging it or should they be continuing Air India as an individual airline? And how do they actually deal with the whole problem of losses? इतने losses कर लिए थे, accumulate कर लिए थे कि टाटा के लिए बहुत बड़ी problem अभी भी है Air India. So उस time जब take over किया था, this was a prediction that there's a lot of turbulence ahead. This also is an important article. Okay, Ayush, Pegasus certainly is controversial, but remember, I might write an article only from a generic perspective without quoting India at all on Pegasus. Pegasus was not only and only used by the Indian government, allegedly. It was used by a lot of other governments to spy on their citizens. Ayush, were you there in my yesterday's class? Because we took one article yesterday. Everyone who thinks Pegasus is an issue that's very debatable. If you were there in my yesterday's class, we discussed a very neutral article. You remember which one? The big brother is watching. Panopticon. Remember that article, everyone? Panopticon. कि बिना बताए हमको देखा जा रहा है. We are being supervised. Surveillance चल रहा है. हमको careful होना about what we are doing. So if you haven't seen that, please watch my yesterday's class on Panopticon. Okay, so this, I think Pegasus still is an important event. Yes, it deals with your freedom of speech, your privacy, right to privacy, multiple fundamental rights and other things are violated here. Yeah, okay, let's get back. The next article that I think is important. Another one from the Hindu. Another one, Nadal's victory. Despite his age, his injury, बिल्कुल ओसाका नाओमी ओसाका जैसा आर्टिकल है, जैसा लास्ट ईयर आया था एग्जामिनेशन में. Absolutely पढ़ लेना. There were articles on Nadal's victory from the Indian Express as well, but I think their language is better here. Read this article. I've already described the event here. Rights of the weak, duties of the powerful. This article also is from the Hindu. Okay, a complaint of undue emphasis on the rights created by suspicion that citizens are being disempowered. I'll give you a gist of this article. All of those who don't remember, it basically says that the government sometimes, because we have rights and we have duties as a part of our preamble and our constitution, but sometimes the government focuses more on our duties and lesser on the rights given to us. Rather, it should be the other way around. If you look at its legal implication, or if you look at a democratic process, duties are always secondary. what is primary and what needs to be ensured is the right. So the government cannot say पहले तुम अपनी ड्यूटी करो डूड, उसके बाद मैं तुमको अपने राइट्स दूंगा. और फॉर दैट मैटर कोई भी जुडिशरी ऐसे नहीं बोल सकता है कि पहले तुम अपनी ड्यूटी करो. ड्यूटी हमेशा सेकेंडरी होती है, राइट्स हमेशा दिए जाते हैं. सो ड्यूटी सिर्फ पावरफुल के हैं और राइट सिर्फ वीक का है. The other way around, it's equal for all. They go hand in hand. If they don't go hand in hand, this is always a priority over this. ये हमेशा secondary होगा. That's the gist of the article. Understood that, everyone? Okay? Got that? Shall I proceed? Exactly, Abhinav, yes. आया? ठीक है, चलिए आगे बढ़ते हैं. तो फंडामेंटल ड्यूटीज जस्टिफाइबल नहीं है. The editorial came after Modi ji's speech in which said people should focus. हाँ, Shrestha, that's right. Okay. In a nutshell, everyone is equal, but some are more equal. No, 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 बच्चे नहीं. मैं फिर से explain करती हूँ. In a nutshell, the idea is कि अगर गवर्नमेंट हमें राइट्स देती है और हमसे ड्यूटीज एक्सपेक्ट करती है, तो ड्यूटीज तभी एक्सपेक्ट कर सकती है जब राइट्स इंश्योर किए जाएंगे. हमारी ड्यूटीज है, लेकिन हम लीगली अबाइड नहीं है टू फुलफिल आवर ड्यूटीज. बट लीगली हमें राइट मिला है, हमारे सारे राइट्स फुलफिल हो, ये हमारी लीगल अथॉरिटी है. सो एवरीवन, these articles are from today's newspaper. Tanu, good morning. No, these are not from today's newspapers. So duties तभी इंश्योर कर सकते हैं गवर्नमेंट जब राइट्स कंप्लीटली मिलेंगे. ड्यूटीज पे फोकस हमेशा नेक्स्ट टू राइट्स होता है. दैट्स द जिस्ट. नेक्स्ट आर्टिकल, हाँ, for something, that's also from the Hindu. I forgot to write that. Okay, that's also from the Hindu. So for something, what was the article about? The quad remains a group of friends who share many things but not a common enemy. Which is the enemy we are referring to here? Yes, movies, that's the point. Who is the enemy we are referring to here? China? Russia? No, no, not Russia. It's China. It's China. Yes. So Quad Nations में बोलते हैं ठीक है. Quad Nations का purpose क्या था? What was the purpose of making a group of Quad Nations? Who's going to tell me? Because when we talk about enemy, ये Quad Nations का purpose थोड़ा defeat हो जाता है. It's okay तनु, कोई बात नहीं, थोड़ा late हो गए हो, कोई बात नहीं. So what was the purpose, the motto of Quad Nations? हाँ, अभी we're not talking about the Ukraine-Russia war. We're talking only about India's enemy. ये सब February का आर्टिकल है गालवान घाटी के बाद का. Security of Indo-Pacific, safe trading, exactly, yes. So जब हम security की बात करते हैं, तो हमको चाइना से सिक्योरिटी चाहिए थी ड्यूरिंग द अटैक्स दैट हैपेंड ऑन द बॉर्डर, बोथ द एंड्स, राइट. सो जब अटैक्स की हम बात करते हैं, चाइना बिकम्स आवर एनिमी, बट द अदर नेशन से नो 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 नो, वी विल नॉट हेल्प यू हियर, बिकॉज व्हाई वुड दे वांट टू disturb their relationship with any other superpower? Okay, and thus, yes, the idea was security for Quad nations in the Indo-Pacific, free trade amongst them. These were the two mottos that they had. But then they decided not to call China as their common enemy. So this can also be an important article. Next article from the Indian Express. Now, Indian Express, I have chosen those articles which have not been covered up from the Hindu. Okay, and they're not dependent on any GK important event. So the Cambridge University study posits correlation between musical taste and personality type. What a waste. It's basically an article saying तुम्हारे पास कितना पैसा है कैम्ब्रिज यूनिवर्सिटी, तुम्हारे पास कितना टाइम है कैम्ब्रिज यूनिवर्सिटी की म्यूजिकल टेस्ट को तुम पर्सनालिटी टाइप से लिंक कर रहे हो. इट इज ऑब्वियस दैट योर म्यूजिकल टेस्ट एंड योर पर्सनालिटी विल मैच. हाउ यू लुक एट थिंग्स, हाउ यू कैरी योरसेल्फ, दैट देयर विल बी अ कोरिलेशन. अब तुम्हारे पास कितना टाइम और पैसा है कि तुम इतना पैसा रिसर्च में लगा रहे हो ओनली टू आइडेंटिफाई द लिंक व्हिच एवरीबॉडी नोज एग्जिस्ट्स. This article I think is brilliantly written, can easily be framed into a reading comprehension. और इस स्टडी को करने का नीड ही नहीं था क्योंकि ये स्टडी तो ऑलरेडी Spotify या बाकी Amazon म्यूजिक के AIs ऑलरेडी कर लेते हैं. Because the AI already is doing such studies. If you listen to one kind of music in Spotify or Amazon music, वो ये Apple automatically similar music चलने लग जाता है ना. So you and then automatically it will create albums for you. So when we have AI, how much money do you have? Why do you spend so much money? You rather put this money on charity, is what the article says. It's a brilliant article. Please read that. Okay, so that's the first article from Indian Express. Next one, how to expand India's forest cover. Nature has been a very important topic since the inception of CLAT. 2007, one article. The year we had our CLAT paper starting, we had one article on nature, and every year, almost every year, we have articles on nature. So I have taken some articles from the Indian Express. I'll also share a list of articles from the Guardian because it covers up nature a lot. I'll also share a list from the Aeon, which covers up nature a lot. Please read this article, which talks on our green goal by increasing our forest cover. Next article, why life is a lot like chess. Remember this article? It was a brilliant one. My nose is blocked. I'll have to take a break. Finally, the feeling is sinking in. मेरे मन में अब finally the feeling is sinking in that okay, this year for you guys and me is coming to an end. CLAT will be happening very, very soon. And you would go to your favorite colleges and I would be meeting a new set of kids like every year. Okay. That's actually strange, Ishan, because इतना expensive form होना नहीं चाहिए. जब आप CUET का form देख रहे हो, वो इतना expensive है नहीं. ठीक है? Okay, चलिए आगे बढ़ते हैं. So, while life is a lot like chess, the rules of the game are simple, but playing is a complex art. And that's what life is. Rules are simple, but to play it with all your might and win towards the end, that's a complex art. So there's an analogy that's been drawn between life and chess. It's a metaphor. Chess is a metaphor here for life. So it has an opening, middle, and end game. You know which game is it referring to. Very nice, beautifully written article. You will love reading that. Read this article. Next one. Nadal steals a match over his two rivals. Same topic जो हमने अभी हिंदू में देखा था, Indian Express में भी है, आप यहाँ से भी पढ़ सकते हो. You can download the PDF later on and check out this article here. The next one from the Guardian. Okay, so if you don't have an access to the Guardian, you can just Google this name. Very likely you would find the article available for free. So the Guardian's view on social media's metaverse. It may remain science fiction. Okay, now see, meta means an imaginary one. Okay, not real, but something that you can see. An online virtual reality experience that almost every tech giant today wishes to commercially exploit may not catch on. So the idea that this metaverse may not be a popular one, it may be a fail in the future, and that's the Guardian's view on science fiction. So read about metaverse, read about science fiction, and the Guardian's view on that. I think this is a very important article. Okay, so I'm not talking about CUET anyone. I'm not talking about CUET anyone. Let's get back to the agenda of the class. Next article, the Guardian's view on Wordle. Wordle पे बहुत सारे articles आए थे. Indian Express में आया था एक why is Wordle such a fad these days? And then when there were times when जब ये होने लगा कि Wordle should be a paid game and then should it stay free, the whole debate, and because there's a lot of following of Wordle, people are hooked to the game. So the article says joyful and innocuously addictive. Yes, the game is addictive. The online word game harks back to more innocent age. Simple. One game. पूरा दिन wait करोगे game के आने का. You will find the answer. The new owners must respect its spirit. Keep it free. As the game is innocent, keep it free so that the innocence stays alive. There's another article that was published in the Indian Express, which I'll share later on. जहाँ ये था कि why is Wordle so addictive? The reasons of that being addictive. So this article is an important one. The next article from The Guardian. Thank you, my child Ragini. Thank you. पारितोष मैं सिर्फ February 1st to February 15th ले रही हूँ आज articles. Everyone, these articles are only from Feb 1st to 15th. So if there are articles on COP 26 coming to your mind, yes, it's very very important. But अगर वो articles इस बीच नहीं आए, I will not be taking them in today's class. Every week कुछ articles तो लेके आऊंगी ना. So have trust on me. 12 साल से पढ़ा रही हूँ, miss नहीं करूंगी important topic. Trust me, okay? The Guardian's view on pre-science in novels. What is pre-science? Do you remember this, anyone? What is pre-science? The Nazi article? Abhash, I'll tell you after a couple of articles are done here. Which I'm going to take today. Prophecy, yes. Prediction, yes. Dystopian novels that mimic our present times, yes. So already जब novels ने बता दिया था आगे क्या होने वाला है. George Orwell, for that matter of fact, was certainly the one. They could read the future कि आगे dystopian world होने वाला है. The governments are going to control you. Panopticon जैसा view हो जाएगा. Literature can be surprisingly accurate in predicting what lies ahead. That's pre-science. बहुत ही अच्छा article था. बिल्कुल पढ़ लेना इसको. This can easily be framed into a reading comprehension. Now, before I show you the article that I've bought today, that was all about articles from February 1st to February 15th. I am going to be taking one article now that we're going to be discussing together, which very likely most of you have not read, okay? And stick with me till the end of the article. And after that, I'll meet you again next Friday if you don't come to my regular classes every day. Next Friday, another revision for probably going back to 15th of Feb to March 15th as well, because Feb 15th के बाद कम days होंगे Feb में, तो March 15th तक के लेंगे हम articles. And if you're targeting CLAT 2022, batch 3 of the crash course has been launched. जल्दी जल्दी से enroll कर लो. वैसे भी सेल चल रहा है, delay मत करना. Okay, so अब कुछ चीजें मैं पूछती हूँ, मुझे आप आंसर्स बताएंगे, ठीक है? जब आप cars, best cars in the world, most luxurious cars in the world की बात करते हैं, which country comes to your mind? Let's talk about the article today. Which country comes to your mind? Yes, it doesn't, movies, that's true. So, what comes to your mind? Yes, Devika, it is. Certainly Germany. It has to be Germany. Do you, okay, USA, Tesla, okay, Japan and Germany. Dubai, I say modified cars नहीं कि ज़्यादा cars किसके पास है वो नहीं. It's Japan, USA and Germany. Okay, and then when you read about the Nazi regime, you also read about Volkswagen. What was the meaning of Volkswagen? What was the quote in English for Volkswagen? What was the quote? What does Volkswagen mean? Yeah? What was the quote? What does Volkswagen mean, everyone? Rolls Royce, okay. What does it mean? याद है कुछ स्कूल में हिस्ट्री में पढ़ा होगा, I'm sure. The people's car. The people's car. Yes, it's the people's car. Correct. So, आप लोगों को ये पता है that when in the Nazi regime, Hitler launched Volkswagen. What was the reason for launching Volkswagen? Volkswagen was launched so that nationalism, the feeling of nationalism could be there in the mind of people, the Nazi people, okay, that this is my own car and this is within the reach of everyone. And that's why the manufacturing of Volkswagen started. But do you also know that thousands of slave workers, bonded laborers used to work for Volkswagen and its manufacturing under the Nazi regime. So it isn't very clean if you talk about Volkswagen as a car. Now, Volkswagen, and you talk about Porsche, you talk about other brands, Lamborghini and other ones. Specifically, अगर हम German cars की बात करते हैं, तो उनके owners जो हैं, वो अभी भी अपने founders के heir ही हैं, उन्हीं के successors हैं. And since Volkswagen, Porsche, ये सब responsible थे for Nazi cruelty, are the current successors liable for the cruelty? Are the current successors sorry for the cruelty? Probably not. That's what this article is about. They are the heir of Nazi fortunes and they aren't apologizing. Nazi fortune, Volkswagen owners, उनका fortune, उनके heir के पास, और वैसे ही BMW, Mercedes, Porsche, इन सब के बच्चे होते गए, उनके पास पैसा जाता गया, फैमिली हायरार्की से पैसा डिवाइड होता गया. They still multi-millionaires. But are they apologetic? They probably aren't. That is what the article is about. Guys, ये बातें बंद करो. Please बातें बंद करो. I cannot look into the important chats. I have a lot of people live today. I need all your attention here in the article. That's more important than answering to anybody who you don't even know. Okay? So, getting back to it. The people's car. Yes. So, the backbone of Germany's, अब देखते story कैसे proceed करती है आगे. Very interesting. The backbone of Germany's economy today is the car industry. Certainly, the most important economy part is the car industry. It is not just that it accounts for about 10% of the GDP. Brands like Porsche, Mercedes, BMW, Volkswagen are recognized around the world as symbols of German industrial ingenuity and excellence. You know, when I talk about German cars, these cars come to your mind. These companies spend millions on branding and advertising to ensure they are thought of this way. हाँ, आप किसी के बारे में, किसी कंपनी के बारे में कैसा सोचते हो? It's very, very likely that they spend a lot of money on their advertising. They spend less money and energy on discussing their roots. Their roots, the Nazi roots. All of these had Nazi roots. You'll be surprised to know something. Let me tell you that. These corporations can trace their success directly back to the Nazi. So, the owner Porsche persuaded Hitler to put Volkswagen into production. His son, Ferry Porsche, who built up the company, was a volunteer for SS officer. Who were SS officers? Do you remember that? Who were SS officers? The private security guard for Hitler. So he was voluntarily working as an SS officer for Hitler, who founded the company. So Herbert, who built BMW into what it is today, committed war crimes. He is also not clean. So did Frederick Flick, who came into the control of Daimler-Benz. Unlike Mr. Quant, Mr. Flick was convicted at Nuremberg. I'm sure you know about the trial of Nuremberg. So he was convicted at Numberberg, but other people went away free, possibly because of the money they had. This is pronounced as Volkswagen. It is not pronounced as Volkswagen. No, I am deliberately saying Volkswagen because that's how it's pronounced. This is not an English word, my child. Okay, so yes, that was Adolf Hitler's personal bodyguard unit. So one of them was convicted, others were set free. This isn't exactly a secret in modern Germany, but it is happily ignored. They say, okay, how does it matter? These titans of the industry, the men who played a central role in building the country's post-war economic miracle. Of course, because war ke baad, country ki economy should be in doldrums. But they miraculously recovered the economy. So they are responsible for the recovery. Why to blame them? And they are still widely championed and celebrated for their business acumen. They're good businessmen. They make world's best cars if they are not their wartime deeds. So they're not celebrated for the wartime deeds. Rather, people ignore it deliberately. They certainly are celebrated for the business acumen, for the brilliant cars they manufacture. Their names adorn buildings. Of course, streets unke naam pe, buildings unke naam pe, foundations unke naam pe, prizes unke naam pe. Kin ke naam pe? Who committed Nazi brutality? In our country that is so often praised for its culture of remembrance. Guys, जब हम Germany की बात करते हैं, तो automatically Germany comes up with a sense of guilt in the mind of people. I've read so many articles where Germans always have this guilt in the mind of what their forefathers did to other people, about their concentration camps and about what Hitler did. So, वो हमेशा guilty रहते हैं अपने mind में. There are times when a person would not want to be known as a German, otherwise लोग उसको देखेंगे as a culprit. उसके forefathers को देखेंगे as a culprit. So इसलिए Germany is often praised for their remembrance of what they have done, for their contrition. What is contrition? What does it mean? Repentance. Contrition means repentance. So they repent for what they have done. An honest, transparent acknowledgement of the wartime activities of some of the Germany's richest families remains at best an afterthought. So, जब सब लोग Germans अपने आप को, they see themselves, guys, just a minute, oops. Please give me a second. So when Germans see themselves with guilt, why not these richest families of Germany? But until these companies, Germany are more open about Nazi history of their patriarchs, reckoning will remain incomplete. So they're just not able to recognize or acknowledge what their forefathers have done. Why will they even apologize publicly? I've been reporting on these families for a decade. First as a reporter, not very important. So the author justifies कि मैं बहुत सालों से ऐसा करता आ रहा हूं, but आज तक कुछ हुआ नहीं है. Okay? Trial of Numberberg नहीं पता. That's one movie you as law aspirants have to watch. After CLAT, do watch this movie. Okay? Any more questions? Yes, Devika, the first class for revision. Okay, let's move on. आगे देखते हैं. Kids in Germany go to annual trips to concentration camps. Yes, exactly. And they should not forget about the dark past. आगे देखो क्या होता है आर्टिकल में. I've spoken to historians and visited archives across Germany and beyond, and I've been shocked by what I've learned. He's been shocked because possibly there's nothing about the things their forefathers have done, especially these rich people. Take the Quants. Today, two of the family's heir have a net worth of roughly $38 billion. They control BMW, Mini, Rolls-Royce, significant holdings in chemical and technology industry. They are the Ambanis of Germany, in short. The family's patriarchs, Gunther and his son Herbert were members of the Nazi Party, who subjected as many as 57,500 people to forced or slave labor in their factories. The same happened with Porsche. So BMW, Mini, Rolls-Royce, ये सब own करते हैं 57,500 people to forced labor in their factories, producing weapons for the concentration camps and Nazi regime and batteries for the German war effort. Gunther acquired companies from Jews. अब ये देखो, so much of negativity here in the next coming few lines. Gunther acquired companies from Jews who were forced to sell their business at below market value. Of course, because they were Jews. They had no choice. उनको sell करना पड़ा below market value. And from others who had their property seized after Germany occupied their countries. So कुछ free में मिल गई, कुछ lower than market share में मिल गई, and Gunther became a big shot. Herbert helped with at least 2 such dubious acquisitions and also oversaw the planning, building, dismantling of concentration subcamps in Poland. So their hands were not clean, certainly not clean. After the war ended, the Quons were denazified. So easy. पहले तुम Nazi brutality करो and then you get denazified. You get away with all the crimes you've done. It was a flawed legal process in post-war Germany that saw most Nazi preparators get away with their crimes. Of course, because ये flawed legal process होगा and all the rich people can influence the process, most of the rich, eminent people of the society, they got away and they were denazified. In 1965, years after inheriting a fortune from his father, Herbert saved BMW from bankruptcy. And what was he known for? For the war crimes? No, for saving BMW from bankruptcy. That's what is written about him in his biography. He became the company's largest shareholder and began restructuring the company. Today, 2 of his children, Stephen and Susan, they own BMW. They own the majority shares and they, of course, make up for the wealthiest family of Germany. ये उन्हीं के heir है. Are you doing anything for the people who lost their lives, for the families who suffered? There is no account of that. The siblings managed their fortunes in a town near Frankfurt from a building named after their grandfather. The same grandfather who was denazified. The building is named on him. The modern day Quons can't claim ignorance of the actions of their fathers and grandfathers. Of course, you can't just ignore what they have done. The information above is included in many documentaries and the involvement in the Third Reich. What's the Third Reich? Who knows what's the Third Reich? Yes, Violet, me too. Kaveri, good one. Yeah, Bhash, that's the whole idea. That's why they're probably not doing anything. Abhash, यार क्यों लड़ाई कर रहे हो सबसे? क्यों परेशान कर रहे हो सबको? बैंक्रप्सी, दिवाला निकल गया, कुछ नहीं बचा. बैंक्रप्ट हो जाती है ना कंपनी. The Nazi state, yes, the Third Reich is used for the Nazi state. Yes, correct. That's what the Third Reich is. Okay. Ma'am, there is a fact to be noted. The Jews concentration camp was not the original idea of Germany. It belongs to some other. Okay, dekho, Abhinav, that idea is to be noted and there are a lot of theories, unverified theories about the entire Nazi regime. So, ये theories discuss करना actually थोड़ा सा गलत होगा हमारे लिए because इनमें बहुत सारी चीजें unverified है. So, we will go by what is printed into our books right now. Okay? तो फिर बच्चे हम कोशिश करेंगे हम आवाज को नहीं रिप्लाई करें because he is just having fun debating. तुम क्यों unnecessarily article नहीं पढ़ रहे हो? Pay attention everyone, it's an important one. Despite commissioning the study, which was conducted by a historian and a team of researchers, BMW heirs seemed to prefer to move on as though nothing had been learned. They just ignored everything. In 2016, BMW's charitable arm was consolidated under the name Bmw Foundation, Herbert Quant. It is now a major global charity with about 150 million in assets, supporting sustainability goals and impacting investing. Sustainability goals के लिए है charity ठीक है, impacting investing के लिए है ठीक है. What about the crimes you did? What about the families who suffered? They also must have grandchildren now. Are you doing anything for them? You aren't. You're plainly ignoring it in white light. Stephen Quant and Miss Clayton are among the founding donors. If the foundation's website is to be believed, Herbert's entire biography consists of only one act. He secured the independence of BMW because he saved BMW from losses and bankruptcy. The charity's motto is to promote responsible leadership and inspire leaders worldwide to work towards more peaceful, just, sustainable future. Only the act of recognizing what their forefathers did should be enough here, according to the author. Today, Porsche doesn't just sponsor professorship or make sports car. That's not the only thing they do. Together with the cousins, the Porsches control Volkswagen Group, which includes Audi, Bentley, Lamborghini, Seat, Skoda, Volkswagen, all of that. I have none. The combined net worth of that actually makes me feel so poor right now. Reading about the cousins and the Porsches. So, the combined net worth of the Porsche clan is estimated at $20 billion. They are now preparing to spin Porsche off from the Volkswagen Group and the list as a sports car company in what is shaping up to be one of the largest initial public offerings of 2022 ever. So they're ready for that. The Porsches have never publicly addressed the activities of their patriarchs during the Third Reich. Never accepted that in public. And it wasn't only Ferry Porsche who was implicated. Fernandez Porsche, who designed the Volkswagen during the war, ran Volkswagen factory with Mr. Piech. So he was equally responsible. Tens and thousands of people were used as forced laborers. I told you about that. And they mass-produced weapons for the Nazi regime. The Ferry Porsche Foundation, endowed with professorship at the University of Stuttgart, because members of its history department published a company-funded study in 2017 about the company's Nazi origin. But the study seems to leave a lot out. Influenced? Very likely. Somehow none of the Mr. Rosenberger's personal papers were included in the research. They were left out. The study also mischaracterized the nature of Rosenberger's share sale. The more like look into the study, the more it began to look more like a partial whitewashing than a full accounting. So it looks like it is a whitewashing. What's the tone of the author, everyone? Tone of the author. Critical? Is it not expository or analytical rather? It's trying to explain how these riches they have a Nazi past and they're trying to possibly overlook that, not publicly recognize that. Is it not more of expository and analytical? Yeah, it is. Paritosh, that's Third Reich because the Germans believe to be originated, rather the Nazi regime is believed, they believed that they've originated out of the Holy Roman Empire and the German Empire. And that's why they are the Third Reich. That's why the name. Yes, yes, yes. You're absolutely partially correct, Paritosh. Okay? Yes. All right, guys. So, Please download our app on Google Play. I'll see you at 12:30, everyone, with one class on the BBA YouTube platform with para completion questions. Make sure you come live again Monday morning for our daily editorial analysis, Friday for our revision of the last 6 months, and 12:30 today on the BBA YouTube platform. Have a very good day, everyone. I hope you love the session. Please share it. If you haven't, please comment under my video if you think it's useful. I'll be glad if you do that. All of the people who don't know, okay, I'm here. What's your question, Muskan? All of those who don't know what is expository, please watch my videos on tone of the author. Expository is explanatory. Any more questions? I'm here for a minute. Anyone? Yes, Ragini, see you. हाँ शाही, उसका continuation लेना है next week मुझे. PDF नीचे. This PDF is available in the description box. You can download that from the description box. Jagriti, expository means explanatory. Ma'am, they know their faults. They feel the regret when. Then why don't they bring? I don't think they feel the regret, because when they bring it in the public, all the buildings named on their grandfather and all the lanes and on the roads, they have to be called off. Why would they do that? Yes, I'm going to do that, Purva. Shahi, what's your question? Could you please post it again? I can't see your question. Jagriti, for the third time, bache, expository is explanatory. राउंड अप चाहिए? चलो राउंड अप अभी दिखाते हैं. आज का न्यूज़पेपर राउंड अप देख लो. Here we go. Looking at today's, it was a very effort taking class. Let me show you today's Hindu and Indian Express in the background. Let's see what's important to read. Hindu, Indian Express. Here we go. Sharing today's newspaper in the background. Ah, here's BYJU'S. No, Shraddha, I don't think so. Muskan, slot 1 looks fine to me. Yes, Shelly, it is expository, bache. It is. Ah, don't read this. No. Don't read this. Oye, bhai. Don't read this. This is good. You can read this. Yes, the number of cases are increasing. Please read this. अच्छा, needless to say, इन सारे articles में COVID तो imperatively important है ही. I don't have to say that कि COVID articles important है. Okay, imperatively important है. Now we don't need the Hindi debate. Okay, don't read this. Okay, you could not read this. I don't think there's anything very important in the Hindu, Indian Express. Let's see. The Urdu press must be. No. Skim. There is a growing intolerance. No. To shun parties is not to be joyless. Yeah, that's a good one. Please read that. Since Stephens must not insist on admission interviews, leave effective and efficient. Yes, read that. Government needs to factor in that both production and procurements are. Yes, that's important. Elon Musk Twitter takeover bid. आपको पता है तो मत पढ़ना इसको. Okay. That's all. That's all from today. Okay. That is all, everyone. Muskan, I replied to you. The slot 1 looks okay to me, bache. Okay. Okay guys, I'm going to have a cup of tea. Thank you so much everyone. Have a very good day. God bless you.